It's so great to have you here with us. Coach Andrea's here today. We have an amazing holiday recipe. This is sure to please everybody, no matter what diet they're on. And I just want to say, I'm really happy to be here. I don't know if I've done one of these shows from Austin, Texas yet, but I now live in Austin, and the flute shelf and all that stuff will be set up over the course of time. But just happy to be here. Happy to be back with you guys. Any questions you have in the comments, please be active. We're going to be here. You have this amazing special woman here with you today, Coach Andrea, who can answer a lot of questions. Andrea is a registered dietitian and nutritionist. She has a master's in public health. She's been coaching with us. For how long have you been coaching with us, Andrea?
I've been coaching with Mastering Diabetes since August of 2021. So September, October, November, December. 16 months.
Look at that. I love that. I love that. And you've probably worked with hundreds of clients at this time.
Yeah.
And we learn so much, through every interaction, every person. Like, it's just the best. And we're having a lot of fun here. So why don't you tell everybody, what are you going to be making for us today?
Yes, I am so excited to make this for you. I call it a sweet potato chocolate mousse. And I feel so lucky because a former private client of mine actually shared this with me recently. And I always appreciate everything that my clients share with me. I learn so much. I discover wonderful recipes. And this recipe, it's so easy and it's so delicious. And you really do feel like you're eating a chocolate mousse, not a whole sweet potato. So it's incredibly delicious and it's so incredibly nutritious. So I hope you people will like it.
This is going to be fantastic. And so I just want to say, there was a comment, somebody said they made your peak go 4 to 5 days a week. I love that, Adrian. That's fantastic.
Oh, you're kidding. That makes me so happy. Oh, thank you.
I love that. And there was somebody saying, hey, I'm looking forward to sweets without the guilt. Okay, so that's the fun part.
Yes.
What you're about to make for us is something that people could literally have year round.
Oh, you could pretty much, you could have this year round. You could have it several times a week. It's that healthy. I love the comment that guest just made about having sweets without the guilt, because that's exactly what this is. I mean, you feel like you're doing something so decadent, but one, you're not. You're actually nourishing your body with extraordinary nutrients, right? Including beautiful fiber and soluble fiber and beta carotene, and which the body can turn into vitamin A. And you are not, because it doesn't have any added sugar, you're not left with what a typical sort of decadent dessert leaves you with, which is that intense craving for more, because it's kind of driving you to eat more and more and more. Even if you're full, you want to keep eating. It's hard to turn off your hunger cue. But here, because it's full of fiber, you can have a bowl and you love it and you feel like it was decadent and you're done. And you feel great. You don't have that yucky feeling of too much sugar afterward. None at all.
It's fantastic. Okay. Sarah says she's new to all of this, so she appreciates the opportunity to learn. Well, we appreciate having you be here, and make sure to get out your pen, your paper. When we put the recipe on the screen, you could just take a picture with your phone. But we love having you guys actually make these recipes. That's the best part. So really love to hear what we heard from Adrian. Why don't we get started?
Okay. Super. Okay, so here we go. This has just a couple ingredients. 2 medium sweet potatoes, okay, baked, and you take the skin off after you cook. You can bake them in the oven or you can bake them in the microwave. That's a lot faster. That takes maybe about 7-8 minutes versus, maybe 52 minutes to an hour in the oven. A 1/4 cup unsweetened cocoa powder, a teaspoon of vanilla, and then some unsweetened soy milk. And then I top it with strawberries. It's really good. So first of all, I've already baked my sweet potato. I did that in the oven. I did just experiment. We always bake in the oven. So I just experimented for the first time in my life, baking a sweet potato in the microwave, and it works. It's really good. Here's one. It's beautiful. It's ready to go. This is about the size I used. So I baked 2 of these. They were just a little bit bigger.
Amazing.
So I've already peeled most of the pieces. I just want to show you how easy it is. So I cut my sweet potato in pieces and then put it face down on some parchment paper so that it can get kind of caramelized, which adds to the sweetness. And then I'll just show you how easy it is to take off the skin. It's so easy. You just peel it right off. It comes right off the flesh. Look at that.
Easy.
Easy peasy. And you can, if this is organic, I would eat this because this has a lot of fiber and nutrients in it. Otherwise, you may not, but organic, you're probably a little safer that it isn't filled with harmful pesticides and things like that. So there you go. I've got one more. I'm going to peel. And
look at that. Look at that color. Those are so vibrant, Andrea.
Oh, yes. Whoops. I just dropped some on the floor. Yeah, I want everybody to know that this beautiful bright orange color is, and it indicates that there's a very powerful antioxidant in this food. And that beautiful orange or yellow color in other plant foods indicates the same antioxidant, and the antioxidant is beta carotene. It's really, really helpful for your body. And the body, if it needs more vitamin A, it will convert that beta carotene into vitamin A. So it's just amazingly good for your body. It's anti-inflammatory. It's good for your eyes. Just a lot of helpful qualities.
It's wonderful.
Okay.
Peggy's from Arkansas. She says from Arkansas, y'all, hey, we're glad to have you here, Peggy. This is a great recipe for you.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use a Ninja. You could use any high-speed blender or mixer. I've actually made this just with a hand blender, an immersion blender too. So, whatever tools you have at home, they'll probably work. I'm going to cut it in some smaller pieces just so that it blends up a little bit more quickly. So here we go. Just going to pop those in my Ninja. Okay. And it fills up the Ninja quite a bit. So I'm going to start not with all of it, just about 3/4 of it. And next is on my recipe, let's see, 1/4 cup of cocoa. Okay. And this is unsweetened. Everything is unsweetened. We're not adding any sugar here. Okay. Right. Now you could actually start with a little less cocoa. This is gives quite a chocolatey punch. If you're somebody who wants just a slightly less chocolatey flavor, you could start with a couple tablespoons and then just add. Just taste it as you go and possibly add. But I really like the chocolatey flavor, so I'm putting a 1/4 cup. Next is a teaspoon of vanilla. Now, one thing I learned as I was preparing for this Facebook live today was that some vanilla extracts actually contain added sugar. I didn't know that. And I looked at mine and it has a little bit of sugar. So just something to note that when you buy your vanilla extract, look on the label and ideally try to find one that does not have added sugar. And then the last thing I'm going to add is the soy milk. Now this is unsweetened as well. You could probably use any unsweetened plant milk. However, I will say soy milk tends to be creamier than some others. So it does lend a nice creaminess that makes this, more moussey. So you could try, probably an oat milk would also be good. So you could just experiment. Now I'm starting, I'm actually going to start with 3/4 cup because I have noticed that my Ninja, just to do a good job of blending, needs a little extra fluid. So I'm going to put 3/4 cup in there.
This is wonderful.
And that's it.
Okay, so Andrea,
now we're going to blend it.
So Adrian says, so to be clear, you cut them into like 1-inch cross section and bake on parchment paper with no salt or seasonings. Would you share how long and the temperature you use for baking the potatoes?
Absolutely. So there are a number of different ways you can do it. I actually use high temperature oven. I use 500, I put the oven on 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and I baked these for about 50 minutes, maybe a little longer. And I baked them, I don't have the lid right now, but this has a lid, so I baked them covered. There are so many ways you can effectively bake sweet potatoes. You can literally you want to prick them with a fork, wash them, pat them dry, prick them with a fork. You can put them right in the oven, even at about 450, and cook them for maybe 50 minutes and just check them at that time and see if they're soft enough, if they're cooked through. If not, cook them a little bit longer. You can also put them on just an open face without a lid baking dish with some parchment paper. And you can bake them whole. That works. I like to cut them and put the flesh side down on the parchment just so they get a little more caramelized. I find that makes them just a little bit sweeter.
These are great tips here. So Peggy's asking, can you boil them?
Oh, you could. Yeah, you could. Any way you want to cook your sweet potato would be fine, because what you need is just the sweetness of the sweet potato.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
We have more questions. Could I use Japanese yellow flesh sweet potatoes?
Oh, yes. Use whatever kind of sweet potatoes you would like. And these, honestly, they may even be yams. I still haven't quite figured out the difference between a yam and a sweet potato. So that's just to say you can use yams. You can use any version of sweet potato you want. What is critical is that it be really nice and sweet, because that's where the sweetness for the mousse is coming from.
I love this. Okay.
Okay.
And I just want to celebrate Lynette. She says she's eating Cyrus's quinoa special over arugula for her first meal of the day as she watches Lynette. That's fantastic.
Beautiful. Okay, everybody, I'm actually going to mute myself. Let's see if I can figure out how to, so that you don't have to hear my ninja. Just give me just a minute.
All right. So the chocolate mousse is going to be ready for us soon here. I'm excited about seeing this final product myself. So Adrian says, ooh, those creamy dark purple ones would be incredible. I think that probably would be incredible. I wonder how that would impact the color of the dish, but we'll see. We're learning here. It'd kind of be fun. Maybe be quite unique. Cecile says, Andrea is delightful. I couldn't agree more. And just so you guys know, Andrea is a coach for mastering diabetes. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I'd love to have a delightful coach, then you should book a discovery call, and you should get on the phone and see if you're right for our program, if we can help you. So we'll have our team put a link in the chat box. You can just go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. If you forget the word start, just go to masteringdiabetes.org, click personalized coaching. If you can't figure that out, DM us. Like, we are here to help you. We want to make your life as simple as possible and get you set up for success. So, everybody's always talking about new year, new you, and I'm going to start in January. That's not the way we talk around here. Like, let's start today, right? Let's eat dishes like this for the holidays this year and for every year moving forward. There's no need to set yourself further backwards before you start taking yourself forward. So take action now. Let's go. Let's do this. Look, the color looks fantastic. Oh, I guess it's the cacao that's going to always make it that color, even if they use purple or yellow or whatever. Okay.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you just made me think of something I wanted to share. For kids, if any of you guys have kids at home and you want to help them start to eat healthier treats, you wouldn't even have to tell them that there's sweet potato in here. Yeah, and I think they're just going to think it's a chocolate pudding or a chocolate mousse. It's so good, and they won't even know that they're eating something super helpful.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What if somebody watching is caffeine sensitive? Do you think you could use carob powder?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to give you a kind of a variation on this, which is depending on the ingredients, the sweetness of the sweet potato or the yam, the sweetness, kind of the natural, I should say the level of bitterness in the cocoa, because unsweetened cocoa, if it hasn't been treated with alkali, can be a little bit bitter. So if you find that this isn't quite sweet enough for you, you could actually add a date or two. That would be okay.
That's a great idea.
So with carob powder, I haven't used it enough to really be familiar with it. If it's sweet, absolutely go for it. Or it doesn't even have to be sweet, but of course you could use carob powder. And if it wasn't sweet enough, you could add a date. Or two dates, right? This makes 2 servings.
For sure. Okay, we have a question from Sam Makes It Simple.
Yeah.
And it says, is cacao powder considered safe despite saturated fat? I don't believe there's much saturated fat in cacao powder.
I don't think there's a lot of saturated fat. That's a good, there is some. I'd have to get into Chronometer to tell you.
That's an interesting question, because I don't, it's such a small quantity you put in there. I can't imagine this being anything to even think twice about.
Yeah, I will, just let me go back. Let's see. I put the recipe in. Let's see. Let me, after I finish making it, let me go into my Chronometer and I will tell you how much saturated fat. It's such a small amount. I wouldn't worry about it. There we go. I found it. So let's see. It's got, in total, a quarter cup has 2.9 grams of fat. in total. And let's see, the saturated fat content is a really good question, so I appreciate.
Yeah.
This says the saturated fat is 1.7 grams.
Yeah, that's what I just got, 1.7 grams. That's nothing to worry about.
And this makes 2 servings.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't have to worry about that, but very good question, because we do want you to cut down on your saturated fat.
Yeah.
One thing I want to let everybody know, because it's so thick, sometimes it takes a little while to blend it, and I just added some more water because I think that adding a little more liquid is going to help blend it, and that's fine. You can add a little bit of water. It's not going to change the flavor.
Absolutely.
So let me just blend it a little more, and then I'll be back with you.
I'll answer some questions. So Deborah says, could you use cinnamon instead of vanilla? So I don't know if those would necessarily replace each other, but here's the main take-home message here. You can do whatever you want, right? You experimenting with these recipes, using your intuition, your past experience is a great idea. So make any adjustment you see fit, and always play around with it. But we'll definitely hear from an expert here, Coach Andrea, on her thoughts about cinnamon and vanilla.
Okay, everybody. I know there was a question. I want to answer that, but I just want to show you. I'm basically done here. I don't know how well you can see that. Doesn't that look good?
Fantastic.
It's so creamy. It's just absolutely beautiful, very velvety. And I didn't end up using all of the sweet potato just because it'll take a while, and I want to move us along. But I would just take a little while longer. I would add some more sweet potato, add a little more water, and we'd be golden. So I just want to show this to you now.
Okay, perfect. I love this.
And was there a question?
Yeah, somebody's asked the question, could you use cinnamon instead of vanilla? I don't know how cinnamon would replace vanilla.
You could try it. You know, that's the fun thing about things like this is you can experiment and see what comes out and whether you like it. Absolutely, give it a shot.
For sure.
It would give it a different flavor, which would be lovely.
Absolutely.
I bet.
No question. In the chat box, I want you guys to tell us, what are you planning to eat for the holidays? Like your holiday meal, whatever you're celebrating. Like what are you going to eat? I want to know in the chat box. And then Coach Andrea and I are going to answer that question for you guys, so you know what we're going to eat. And we're going to be prepared for success. Oh, look at that color.
Okay, so guys, here it is. It did need a little bit more blending, but I don't want to take the time to do that. But I don't know if you can see that. It's quite velvety. Yeah. Beautiful chocolatey color. Now, what I love to do, the pièce de résistance, is to top it with some fresh, I like fresh berries or frozen. I actually use frozen. I just warmed these up. These are strawberries from frozen for about 2 minutes in the microwave. And what I like about that is that it's warm. The other thing is it's got some of the strawberry juice, which just adds a whole bunch of sweetness and flavor. So I'm going to top this with all these beautiful strawberries. And yeah, I'm just going to put the whole thing in there. And there you go, everybody. I don't know if you can see this. Who would not love this? That's it right there. There it is. Chocolate mousse. Chocolate mousse. And I'm going to taste it here for you. Hold on. Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, a thumbs up. It is delicious. And nobody, I will tell you, I don't think anybody would ever know that this is made from sweet potatoes. I'm eating an entire sweet potato here and thinking I'm having this decadent dessert. That's fantastic. I love this. Okay. Peggy says she's going to try this. Adrian says it's a super fast meal. Bravo. What shelf life do you find with this dish? Oh, that is such a good question. I was thinking about that the other day because we just have been making it and eating it so fast we haven't been storing it. You know, I really don't know. My guess is it would probably be okay for at least about a day. I don't know. And you'd probably want to keep it in the refrigerator, but I don't know. Okay. I'm sorry that I don't know, but I would say at least about a day. There you go. 2 days. Okay, so Pam from YouTube is asking for the recipe. So we'll have the producer, Bess. She's going to flash the recipe on the screen, and then what you got to do is you got to take a picture. You got to take a picture with your phone. Because we can't comment directly to you on YouTube while we're live. You could see the comments on Facebook. So that's going to happen there. And Sarah says she's going to try it tonight. Wonderful. Now, Robby, I want to mention just a couple more things for the audience. And here it is again, you guys. It's so good. I wish I could just invite you over to have some of it. It's so good. And by the way, it's so filling that it's almost, you almost feel like you've had a whole meal. You don't need to eat anything afterward. In terms of the cocoa, what we found is I've made it with unsweetened cocoa that has been treated with alkali. I've also made it with unsweetened cocoa that has not been treated with anything. The second one is a little more bitter. So you may find with the second one that you may want to add a little bit of date, for example, as a sweetener, just to make it a little bit sweeter. You'll just have to see what works for your palate. And dates, dates are a whole plant food. They're very healthy. They are a concentrated source of carbohydrates and natural sugar. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of them in one sitting, but adding one date to a dessert like this, blended up in your Vitamix or your Ninja would really be fine.
100%. Absolutely. Okay. So this is fantastic. I saw a few people commenting what they're going to do for the holidays. My daughter-in-law is making vegan Mexican pozole and tamales. That's fantastic. Peggy says we'll have good sides at Christmas. One is red, green, and white fruit salad. That's going to look beautiful. Strawberries, kiwi, apples. Fantastic. I'm going to make some sweet potato chocolate mousse for my holiday dessert. There we go, Kimberly. Absolutely. If you guys are on Instagram, make sure to take a picture and tag us or share it on Facebook.
Yeah.
If you're in our members only group, if you're in our coaching program, any one of the programs, share in our Facebook group. Karen says, I'd like to try eggplant for a holiday meal. Have yet to search for a recipe though. Hey, okay. We'll consider making an eggplant recipe in a future Facebook live here. Simple meals. Laura says lentil loaf and mashed Yukons and roasted Brussels sprouts. That sounds fantastic. It's good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
This was fantastic. Thank you so much, Andrea. Again, do you have openings in your private coaching or are you full right now?
I'm full right now, but I anticipate having several openings in the beginning of the year. So I'd love to work with any of you. It'd be so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have Coach Andrea walk you through reaching your goals, then you would need to get in now and get on the wait list, essentially. So masteringdiabetes.org/start, book your discovery call. This was a great time. Thank you so much. And we're going to have you come back soon for another recipe, Coach Andrea.
I would love that. It's such an honor, Robby. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye, everybody.